Hello friends, myself Shriram. Let's continue with some more problem. Now at times we are faced with an interesting situation where a string is given and that typically that string contains integer. Now let's try to solve that problem. So suppose if the string is given say 1 2 3 4. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 is what the string is given. Now I want to convert it into integer. Why? Because now it's in the form of a string and now I want it to be a integer. So how do I do that? So for that there is a support in C which is directly available to me, which is in the form of a function which is called as a to I. So if I just type a to I, it is going to give you lot of such support. You can see this e to I, then a to f. That means you can convert a particular string to float. You can have it to integer and then long and things like that. Okay, and then ll. So this support is essentially part of standardlib.h. That means standardlib is a standard library which is available as part of C and we can use that. Okay, so a to I if I use, then I can get the answer. So let's see that first. So I'll use this a to I, and to that now I'm going to pass this string which is str, which I have initialized to 1 2 3 4 5. I can always give input from user, but right now I'm giving a predefined string here. Okay, now obviously the answer for this will be I. So let me just have a variable I, and then we will use this I is equal to a to I. Okay, and then I want to print this value. Okay, so I want to print this value. So obviously this is integer value. Why? Because that's what we are doing, and I will give this I. Okay, and I expect now to get my answer. So let's run this. So here you got 1 2 3 4 5, and that is perfectly correct. Why? Because now I have used it percentage %d and I am not using percentage %s to print. Okay. Now if I just have a string, if someone gives a string like this, say xyz, okay, and then I run it, then also I get 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, no issues. Let's now try something else. So suppose if there is a b c d and then something like this is given. Now you will see the answer comes 0. You can see this very clearly. The answer is 0. It's not 1 2 3 4 which I used to get earlier. Okay, we can give, let me just repeat it once again. Let me just get away with this. Let's say I have such a big number, and then I'll get this 1 2 3 4 7 8 whatever. Okay, now if I have say a string which is part of this, okay, and then I run this, then I get answer as 0. However, if this string is part of here, something like this, then I get 1 2 3 4 5. That is one issue. Then comes the, suppose if I have, let's say, some numbers like this. Let's see what happens. So you will see I get only 1 2 3. That means whatever is available to me as number from the start is what I get. However, I can have in various formats the string can be given. That means the numbers can be part of a string, and now I want to get the numbers which are part of the string. Okay, so that means this e to I is not enough for me, which is obviously inbuilt function which is part of C compiler, and I can directly use by using stdlib.h. So let's now try to improvise it. So we will have a function which we will develop now. Obviously we will develop it in main. So we are going to call it as string to integer improvised version. Okay, and here now we need to basically understand very important thing, that is ASCII value of 0 to 9, and which I have demonstrated it in our earlier videos, like when we printed ASCII table and all those. So ASCII values of 0 to 9 basically start from 48 to 57, and that's what I kept on repeating, like ASCII value of \0 is 0, but ASCII value of 0 is 48. So we know that now. Okay, so that means ASCII value of 0 to 9 is what basically we need to check. That means if I get a string where I have from 48 to 57, then I should be able to get numbers from that string. So if that logic is clear now, then we should be able to write it. So let's now try to have a code which will say that there is a string, and I suppose if someone is going to enter say 10 digits, So I have used character array and 10. Okay. Here also I could have done like that, but there I wanted to demonstrate and the limitations with respect to A to I wanted to highlight. Okay. So now we will basically have some character array and then we will ask a user to enter a string with numbers. Then we are going to do getS. So getS will give us the string. Okay, now I require to have a basically the number which will be formed. So I will have integer n and I will initialize it to 0. Okay, so that I will use, and then I have to do this operation in a loop. So I require a another variable, say I. Okay, now comes the very interesting portion is, now I will have to have a loop, and then because once the user enters, that means now 0 till what, till essentially user is entering till the end. Okay, that means now we know that the string ends with a backslash 0, then I can simply write a loop. Okay, so I can simply write a loop here, say for I is equal to 0, obviously I will start here and then I will say str of I, basically I will simply say which is not equal to we can simply say backslash of 0. Okay, now is this really required backslash of 0? As such you could have put here simply 0. Why? Because backslash of 0, the ASCII value is 0, so that's not an issue. Okay, so essentially we could simply use str of I not equal to 0 also is good enough. Okay, so that is another way to do that. So let me just put here now the curly bracket for loops. Okay, and now what I need to do is I need to check whether the ASCII value is basically in between this. So that's what I told you. So we will now have if, and then I can have a logic if str of I is greater than 47. Why? Because 48 to 49 is what we have, and then str of I is less than 58. Why? Because 48 to 57 is what important. It matters to me. Okay. Now I need to do something here. Okay. So that we will see. Then we have else, and then in the else essentially we have ways to handle this portion. Okay. So now what I need to do as part of if. So if is, now I will get a number, and that from that number, whatever the number I get which is in between 48 to 57, I need to subtract 48, then only I will get 0 to 9, because otherwise it's a string. So in the string format it will be saved in the as a character, and it will be an essentially it will be a ASCII value. So what I now need to do is I need to have a number which will basically be a thing like str of I minus of 48. Okay, so if I do it like this, str of I minus 48, then essentially I will get that particular number. So suppose if the number is, say, let's say 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5, then I will get 1, then I will get 2, I will get 3. But now what happens when I start from left, this particular one is not at units place. That means suppose if it would, the number would have been, say, 1 2 3 only, 1 2 3 4 5 or whatever. Okay, so this 1 is essentially what, let's take a simple case here. Okay, so suppose if the number given is, say, 1 2 3 4. Okay, then when I get 1, then I need to multiply it by 1000, then only I will get it as 10,000, then 200, then 330, and then 4 obviously. Okay, that means from the last digit I don't need to do anything, and from that means I need to multiply as I basically proceed. Okay, so I first get 1, so I need to multiply, keep on multiplying like that. Okay, so how do I achieve that? So for that, now I got the number, and then I need to multiply. So here I obviously have made n to be 0, so I multiplied by 10. That means I will basically multiply it by 10, and then to that I am going to add this str minus whatever. Okay, that means here the first thing is when I is equal to 0, and let's say I get 1, then 1 minus 48, so obviously it is 1's value should be 49. Okay, so 1 I will get 49, and then 49 basically, so 49 and then n is 0, so n is 49, that is correct, and that's the way it will keep on happening. Then I will get, say, 2, then 2 I will get it here, so here obviously this value will be 2, and then 1 will be multiplied by 10, so obviously 1 will be 10 plus 2, so you will get 12, like that. So it will keep on happening, and that's why you need to multiply it by 10. Now what will happen, you basically are going to get only 1 2 3 4 5, then anyway a2 I was able to handle. So now I need to get the numbers which are embedded in the strings in between also, so that's why I will now use continue. So I will do continue. Okay, otherwise I could have simply used here, say exit. Okay, not a valid string, I could have put a message and then I can simply say exit, or I could have returned from here. Either I can do exit, or I can say simply return from main with some number 1 now other than 0. Anyway, when already I have told you, if I just return with some number, anyway I am not doing anything at the system level, that means at operating system level, where who basically called main, and even if I return 1 or 0, right now we are not doing that anything at the system level, so it doesn't matter. So we could have exited, but we don't want to do that. Why? Because the reason is very simple. I want to get out the numbers which are part of this string, so I will prefer to use continue. Okay, and then basically what we should do is, after the loop is over, we can simply give printf, and then we will have here the nice message, number is, probably colon, and then percentage d backslash n, and then we will have this number n. Okay, so that's it. So let's now try to run this code. So let's enter a number. For the time being I will enter, say 1 2 3 4 5. So obviously I got 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, that anyway a2 I was able to do. Now let me enter, say 1 2 7 6 whatever, and then I'll give space and say probably I'll put xyz. So still I could get 1 2 5 6. Let's run it once again. If I give a number, say a b c d, a b c d, and then say 2 3 6 8, and say b l l m n, so you can get 2 3 4 6 8. Okay, so that's the beauty. Then we can once again enter here, let's say a b c space 1 2 3, say b z y, then say 4 5 6, say 1 2 n m l k. I hope I have not exceeded 10. I think we should be careful. So zy, so maybe I'll give 4 5. But yeah, I think that's good enough. Yeah, so 1 2 3 4 5, you could get 1 2 3 4 5. So that's the way this particular improvised version works, where I am able to get the integers very easily, rather than relying on something which is obviously good enough many times, but many times you have to get the numbers which are embedded in a string. And how do you do that? So the crux here is basically you continue, and you get all the things which fall in between. And the very important thing is that you need to do subtraction from 48, then only you will get a number which is 0 to 9, and then obviously as it happens in loop, you need to multiply it with the 10, so you actually get this number, such numbers like 1 2 3 and all that. So that's the way typically you work with this code. It's a very interesting problem to convert from string to integers, and here we have developed our own way to handle the problem, so that we can get our things. Otherwise it may not work with the existing functions easily. I hope you like this problem. Thank you.